box and take from one town to the next. I sit down and this kid says, "Mr. Hadley, we have another job for you." And I says, "What's that, kid?" And she looks at me very serious and says, "Do you know H.P. Lovecraft?" Now, you know me. I ain't read a book since 4th grade, and I didn't know who the fuck H.P. Lovecraft was and didn't care. So she says, "H.P. Lovecraft, the sci-fi writer." And I says, "Okay, sure, kid." And she says, "Well, I want you to steal this old box of his, and we'll pay you $20,000. And I didn't hear her right, or at least I didn't think I heard her right. So I asked her, "What did you say?" And she says, "I want you to steal an old box from H.P.'s estate, and we can pay you $3,000 for it." And I asked the kid, "What's in the box?" And she says, "Does it matter?" And I say, "Depends." The girl looks at her mother, and the mother just kind of shrugs her shoulders. And the way she did it kind of raised the hackles on the back of my neck. The girl, she looks back at me and says, "I've wanted to be a writer all my life, but it's not working. Nothing's coming out of the typewriter for me. Nothing like what Lovecraft could come up with on a whim. Lovecraft was inspired. Literally. What's in that box will help me be a writer. It's at his lawyer's, and I want it." I told her the thing that inspires writers is a fifth of bourbon, and you can buy one of those for 50 twice. But the kid couldn't be talked out of it. I figured what she was after was some lost manuscript or something. Something she could pass off as her own to get started. "Okay," I says, "let me get this straight. What do you want is some box that's still locked up somewhere in a lawyer's office? Is that it? How do you know this box even exists?" "I've seen it," the kid says. "I've seen it in a picture. Here, right here." Now the girl takes out this, I don't know, a large coffee table book, and inside are pictures of famous American authors. Jag-off writers with jag-off names I'd never heard of. Somewhere in the middle was this guy, H.P. Lovecraft. He was this guy, this ugly-looking dude with a long horse-like face. Just looking at him made my skin crawl. Anyways, the girl points to the bottom left corner of the picture, and there, right behind where Lovecraft was standing, was this great oaken desk. And in the shadow of the desk on the floor was what looked like, well, it looked like one of those pirate chests you see in some sort of Disney World ride or sideshow carnival. This old, crusty-looking chest. It had one of those skeleton key locks in front. "Well," the girl says. "Well, what?" "Well, don't you see? It's a movie prop, kid. The picture was staged. It's supposed to make you feel creepy." "No," she says, like I offended her. "It's no prop." And this time she brought out another book. And this book was even older. It wasn't a picture book. It was one of those leather-covered books you find in the back basement of some county library. Something the library forgot 70 years ago. Just covered in a layer of dust. It had the type of pale leather that looked like human skin. The kind we found in that file office at Dachau. The girl opens the book, fingers through some pages, and comes to a chapter on ancient Greek mythology, and shows me a woodcut carving, something they dug up in Pompeii or Athens or some shit. A picture of a, I don't know, some kind of goat creature, like a half-man, half-goat. You know, the kind with the human body and goat feet. Well, it was one of those things, and it was playing at this three-pronged pipe, and sitting right next to it was this pirate chest looked just like the one from the Lovecraft picture. "What the hell is this?" I ask. "It's a woodcut carving from ancient Greece," the girl says. "All right, tell me something I don't know." "It's the same box." I looked at her sister, who was sitting all quiet over by their mother. They both had this look of, well, I don't know, we'd call it earnestness, I guess. This girl was obviously a most convincing storyteller in her own right, even without whatever might be in Lovecraft's box. This hubcap had somehow convinced her family that this fairy tale was true. And that was kind of frightening. "What do you really think is in the box?" I asked the girl.